I'm not a great grief counselor. It's not that I'm bad at understanding it. It's just that it's not a strength of mine. I think the basic issue is nostalgia. I don't have it. Nostalgia is a really interesting problem today because we have, with our digital and social media, access to information in a way that we never have had in history before. And in order to drive sales, to get people to invest in things, there's only a few approaches you can take marketing wise. One is you'll be sexy because you aren't now. Or another is, oh man, you remember this? It was great. Those were the best of times. Don't you think that you should have some memories of that? And then we get some music or some pictures or something like that. The thing is, that's not normal. That's not even healthy. We're supposed to be allowed to forget things. I don't want to be reminded every, year of one of my friends who died. It's not okay. I'm supposed to be allowed to, at some point, go, oh, wow, I haven't thought about them in a really long time.
Remember me.
Oh, you could say that again.
You can't say that again. He's dead. No one comes back from the dead.
We'll bring him back.
Someone should start analyzing these videos for sense, if not content. The thing about nostalgia is that it's not just remembering things. Nostalgia is specifically the notion that something in the past is so much better than it is now. Allow me to give you an example of my deficiency. It was never better then than it is right now. I realize that you might be thinking, oh, but I had so much more money then, or I had so much more freedom, or I had my better health. And yet, that's you remembering some good things. And it's tragic that you might not be in a great place right now. But that doesn't mean everything was better back then. That means there are elements that you can look at that you want to still have with you. So your job becomes trying to figure out how to bring that forward. If you have bad health, how do you improve it? If you can't improve it, how do you accept it and adapt? If you miss your girlfriend that broke up with you, how do you, get past that? Do you find new relationships, or do you recognize that they probably broke up with you for a reason and work on that?
It isn't brutal. It's natural.
What nostalgia does is create a fiction that there were easier circumstances in the past that don't exist now. And that annoys the hell out of me. You see, what's really happening right there is that nostalgia is letting you view something in the past with the perfect lens of the knowledge that you have in the present. It doesn't accept causality, for one thing. How each step arrived for you to get in your life. It allows for a lack of responsibility because you know exactly what'll happen. The interesting thing is, nostalgia can occur outside of your own personal life. For example, I worked with a young lady a few years ago. It's 2023 right now, and I believe she'd be 21 years old. So you can do the math. What made some of my exchanges with her really fascinating was that she had this exceptional love of the 80s. She honestly believed that it was the best time in history. When I asked why, the examples she gave me were this lovely set of really choice picks. Fashion, music, and we all had a simpler life. When I pointed out that she was ignoring things like the nuclear menace, the rise of inflation, police actions that we as Americans were taking in other countries, a lack of mental health care, a lack of physical health care at many points in places because the homeless issue was bad. There was massive toxic masculinity, homophobia. So, basically today, I was informed I was wrong. After all, what would I know? So, generally speaking, nostalgia can be longer distance, but it can also occur immediately, for example. When we watch or read a story that we really love, we can resist the idea that it's ending, demanding the infinite repetition of sequels. Here's the thing. Grief and nostalgia make a potent toxin for a person. When you miss someone, you deny the notion that there were any sorts of issues. You ignore anything that contradicts you, and you struggle with the idea that there may have been more dimensions to that person than they were awesome. You're leaning into a lie, a cartoon version of that person or situation. I don't know what the diagnosis is for nostalgia. I mean, maybe I should look under glass, rose tinted. The painful reality of the world is we do need endings. Every story should have an end. It doesn't mean that we can't miss it. But it was never better than. It is not superior to the now. You can miss things so much. But if you always think that they were better before, you're likely missing the things that make things good now, in the middle of your life. And that can become a cycle where you wind up really being in a situation where everything was better before.